What did we learn in the first installment? Ah, yes. On the first 2 days of creation, God had created 4 things: water, heaven, light, and a switch. The bathtub and the tap were my creation. He created a bunch of water, which he apparently calls earth. A touch confusing, I know, as earth and water are a bit of a contradiction in terms. In reality, this is what many call mud, or in reverse, I call dumb. Then he made a bubble he called heaven, a light because he couldn't see what the hell he was doing, and a switch, so I guess he could get some shut-eye. Let's see what Madness Days 3 and 4 offer. Click like and subscribe to join me while I expose the claims of the Bible, and then together we can make it better. The book of Genesis 1:9 through 19. And God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. 10. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. 11. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth." And it was so. 12. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. 13. And the evening and the morning were the 3rd day. 14. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years." 15. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. 16. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. 17. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. 18. And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. 19. And the evening and the morning were the 4th day. And I think we have a problem with conjunctions. Houston. Start of day 3, God wants a coffee, and then start instructing the water to gather together so we can see some land. Where did the land come from? It wasn't created, it just happens to be under the water. Like in any pond we can witness. Even stupid people understand that to contain a liquid you need a container. So we move the waters a bit, good practice for Egypt, a bit later. However, what prevents the water from finding its level and washing back over the land? There isn't any mention of plate tectonics, it is just the water that moves. Now, a clever apologist might interpret this completely differently and claim this is gravity in action. Taking all the water created on day 1 and then creating a gravitational body. If that was the case, then why has it taken gravity 2 days before it functions? And does high gravitational forces applied to H2O create rock? No, absolutely not. If you supercompress water, you get hydrogen distressed ice. Maybe we should start keeping track of how magic is used to advance the plot of this dreadful fiction. God now called the dry land earth. Does that mean he made an error on day 1? Maybe we should also track God's failures to be an omnipowerful being, like omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. We now have a huge problem. The surface of this earth, is it the concave surface within a bubble called heaven, or is it the convex surface of something that, importantly, hasn't even been properly explained? We can safely assume most scribes had zero idea about the shape of the earth. Perhaps a few might have seen some predating Greek scrolls, as the scribes could only narrate from an ill-informed position in the way they subjectively observed the world. What hope could they have with understanding cosmology? With a wave of his hand, God does all the planting and gardening. Sadly, God has the order all wrong, as we irrefutably know that life started in the seas, but instead it seems that a magic spell plants the shrubberies first. Hello, I am a shrubber. My name is Yahweh the Shrubber. I arrange, design and sell good shrubberies, he said in a deep voice. Fact, we know the dinosaurs predate grass, so this creation myth is in error. Lights out for bed. Day 4, back to the firmament. What is going on? Is it still God's heaven? Is it now our sky? Or is it space? This is piss poor writing to miss out on the amazing construction site called Our Universe. Why? Because the writers were clueless, and thus God was clueless. See how that works? So, what happened to God's big fart bubble? It seems reality just turned itself inside out or inverted itself. Shall we just say magic again? Yep. So now we seem to have everything roughly sketched out above the surface. He finally makes a real light source, and presto, day and night are turning on this globe unless you believe the earth is flat. Please don't go there. It is one thing to believe something without any supporting evidence, another to turn a blind eye to what anyone can and has observed already as a part of demonstrable reality. Yeah, we now have mention of the first real object that can create light, the sun, with bonus lights, the moon, and the stars. Shall we tell God yet that the moon isn't a light? Additionally, we have reference that the sun, moon, and stars are also part of God's firmament. We now seem to know God is just floating about space like Gene Roddenberry. The New Bible 2.0, Genesis 1, 9 through 19, 9. And all the matter, not just water, formed an oblate spheroid called Earth. 10. Its oceans and lands rested on tectonic plates that mountains could rise and fall. 11. And prokaryotes, the earliest forms of life, took form over 1 billion years. Feeding on carbon compounds they accumulated in Earth's early oceans. 12. No one has a definite answer on how, but there is some convincing research that doesn't invoke wizardry. 13. And the morning and the evening were the third day. 14. Quickly stepping through time, we better backtrack to those stars and galaxies that have been brightening up the universe for 9 billion years previously. Whoops, where were they on day 1? 15. The sun burning since before our planet formed has always been casting a day and a night. 16. There was also a lesser body that reflected the light of the sun, called the moon. And by pure coincidence, the sun and moon at this current time, in the solar main sequence of our star, will confuse the crap out of people looking for patterns. 17. Without a telescope, they both seemed fixed in place, but what about that retrograde motion flat earther? 18. Oh, the dividing of lights. It is just the rotation of this sphere as a complex part of general relativity. 19. Now we have celestial bodies locked into gravitational orbits. We can finally have a 4th day without the workshop overhead lamps on.